Alright, my friends, I'm watching Alex Jones and Tucker at the same table. I'm not gonna lie, these are very intense people because they have to see, like, the dark side of the world. Making me think that I can break down world events just a little bit more clearer. Especially since I was voicing information about the apocalypse. The 8-year play. But something new is coming up for me as an insight of like, yeah, we live in capitalism, and capitalism is notorious for self-induced suffering and destruction. I still think Tucker has two weaknesses. He is very harsh on outsiders and very intense. Goes into like very intense topics without actually having any clear answers or safety nets. He's part of the problem, my friends. Alex Jones is part of the problem. Everyone is, to some degree. Nobody's perfect. Welcome to capitalism. This is tough stuff, my friends, to swallow. When it comes to world affairs, we have basically a play coming down, right? First 2 years, the human portal opened. They have the most people, they should start the play. Potentially saying, I am sick of capitalism. Let's start a pandemic. Let's make sure everyone is in on this. Let's make sure everyone is sick. Maybe not of capitalism, but we're gonna finish the fucking sentence somehow. Everyone got sick. And the apocalypse has began. Begun? Began? I think it's begun. But I really don't care. You know, English is a stupid language for stupid people, but also for smart people who don't want to put a lot of effort into learning languages. Yeah, you can imagine like the heart of China is opening this intention to sicken the world of just to give the vibe that there's something sick going on. And, now that we put the perspective of capitalism, it's sickening people simply because you're on your own. You're not gonna receive help. You will be diseased by everything imaginable, and it's gonna be your fault because you have all this freedom, right? Freedom makes it your fault. However, there's one thing that is not included in this freedom. Others people's competence is not included in this freedom, and you can blame them for incompetence. The most common way to blame other people is not by saying, I am not healthy because people are not able to heal me. I'm not healthy. I'm not healthy because I'm not getting correct advice. Advice is more powerful than anything you can react to. You have to prepare. Preparation is advice. Reaction is just a desperation to escape a burning building. Trust me, you have to follow through in order to be dominated by these ideas. We have to get to the present tense, of what's actually going on right now. And again, you'll be able to see what's happening in the future, what the plans are. The reason why Tucker's video is so intense and Alex Jones is so intense because they don't have their own plans. They are not plotting anything. They're just reacting to the evil. And that always makes things more intense. Because you don't have resistance brewing whatsoever. You're not making moves, actually. You're just sitting there and intensifying the fucking atmosphere around you. It is actually a lot easier to die in such atmosphere. That was the COVID. That was the COVID. What was the COVID? Let me explain. Alright? First of all, the anti-COVID movement was about social distancing. Socializing is intense, so you have to back away. Most people are bullies. Most people use their freedom to bully others. Cut the social, tensions. But something else is also happening at the same time. Some people are intense in their homes. And one thing from self-improvement that I've learned is that you run out of oxygen very fast. All right? You just happen not to open a window. You just forget one or two things and you run out of oxygen, game over. All right? You become like 50% weaker of a human being, 50% less willing to, do things or resist bad ideologies. You'll run out of oxygen. If your window is shut, you still have COVID, you know? If you're not social distancing yourself, you still have COVID. This shit never went away. These are rules set in place by the human portal, by the 50% of humanities right here. Why are you not listening? What are you doing? All right? Social distancing is still important. Wearing a mask is still important, potentially, in a hypothetical sense, where I am not actually revealing my face. I don't have to. There's no need. It's just another overhead that I have to go through in order to reveal my face. What's the point? Where are we going with this? Like, I don't have to reveal where I live, what my real name is. We don't have to share this information, guys. However, being anonymous and being a fucking little bitch and intensifying your environment and potentially getting a backlash, some people want to defend themselves, unfortunately, in the comment section. And when you receive that, you might run out of oxygen. You might feel still dizzy, even if it's not trendy to feel like that. Mask is also a symbol of, I don't want to speak to you. You should not wear a mask next to your children, obviously. That would be fucking weird. But otherwise, that's what the symbol means. And you can still pull it up, you can still put it out of your ass. You can still buy one and symbolize something to someone. It is still an epic weapon of epic proportions. Will still trigger a bunch of people and maybe even trigger conversations that you can win. Of like people asking why. Why should I talk to you? Why should I interact with you? Why can I social distance? Why can't I? I hate humans, personally. I would completely understand if you also have an easy time believing that COVID is still fucking raging on, still the next best thing since sliced bread. You have to enjoy the apocalypse in order to not feel the dreads, the consequences, the side effects. You have to just enjoy it. Let the people fucking die from their own mistakes. They're not healthy because they made mistakes. They had all the free will in the world and they make a fucking terrible mistake of just like not oxygenating enough. Alright. My bad. That's just the first step. Then we enter the brave soldiers. Wow. Look at these brave people attacking other countries. The tiny fucking Chihuahua that's super brave, raging across the world immediately. The Russians want more territory for no particular reason. Such brave people, It is only natural, and like, you can see the way the world is fucking structured, of like the brave people come in next. Everyone is ready for the apocalypse. Or everyone like has to be ready for the apocalypse because that's the most fucking mind-blowing worldwide event. Everyone has to spectate everything that is going on right now. Right? The current years are the most fucking intense, unbelievable, the most hard to understand years of all time. What the narrative is actually in Russia, and it's like a very repetitive narrative of like, yeah, Putin just sending fucking prisoners, people he can get his hands on. Basically, Putin doesn't want fans anymore. Putin is like one of those retired influencers of like, well, I am retiring, guys. So if you're electing me, if you surrender to me, I will send you into war. Because I still want you to go to war for some reason. I don't know why Putin is into that, into killing his own fans. Maybe he really likes privacy and he's gonna live in some fucking bunker for the rest of his life. Maybe he still survives the war. But I feel like the narrative is completely not what you think it is. It's just Putin. That's the narrative. That's just one dude. That's the whole narrative. He has so much power that he just created a fucking narrative out of his ass. That's why it feels so destructive and nonsensical. Bro can start a war when he's bored. But I think he's starting the war because he's retiring. I think that's like the most common uh, answer to the question of what's going on. Right? He's getting tired, like all these like ideologies that are popping up from the West also pisses him off of like, man, it's getting tiresome. I can't run a country anymore. I have to do something fucking drastic and just disappear, basically. I released videos about Israel. I still don't know what the fuck is going on there. What is that shit? It doesn't even have anything to do with like Christianity. So it's not even interesting. Where's my Jesus at? You know? There used to be some kind of resemblance of religion in Israel, but I don't know what it is anymore. I can't comprehend anything about it. I still don't know anything despite information like flowing in, and I just like nothing makes sense. So perhaps we can best describe it as the vortex or war containing just white noise. Nothing but white noise. Everything is noise of like, man, America is funding this thing. Like what? How? Why are they so involved? Why everyone cares? But it's a fucking genocide. But like you don't understand. You give a fuck too much. There's nothing you can do. You're not a militant. You can't protest your way out of this. And Americans are involved simply because they have so much anxiety all the time about any war happening. They want to be involved in this, but most of the time they're just so distant from what the reality is. And I feel like reality is white noise. Potentially, Israelis fucking made the Gaza, made those people to be killed. Yes, it's crazy to make human sacrifices, but that's possible. The possibility cannot be, thrown away, and it's still there. It didn't got debunked, so it's still there. They manufactured some white noise for people to jump in and just completely lose their fucking minds over it. Well, the Russian war might be like the most real thing, but at the same time, it's just one man running the fucking show. One man sparking the whole problems, basically. And he can do whatever he wants. That's why it feels so fucking radical what Russia is doing. Everything is so absurd. While what Israel is doing is actually not absurd, it's very fucking tactical and simple, right? They just hate every fucking neighbor and they destroying what they have created. And everyone is crying about it. It's like losing some kind of like a triple A game that you were attached to. I've done it. I've lost some games. Stop killing games movement becomes a reality because people are losing something so precious. You can see how world affairs potentially have some kind of coherence when I laid it down. Is there a connection? Why would brave people want to jump in and do stuff? Potentially they just have to. They constantly brew something, they prepare something, but it's time to just do it. You have been preparing for way too long. It's time to do it. They got some signal to just perform whatever the fuck they have accumulated, whatever wealth they accumulated that is like unhuman wealth. All right? This stuff is not human. You would not understand. This is again, just like Russia and Putin, or Israel and Putin, they have unhuman wealth, something you can never own in actuality, but capitalists tend to do that. They don't just stop with the money, they ask of like, what can I buy? It would be stupid of like, oh my god, I have so much wealth, I have all these homes, cars. That's useless. Capitalists, the real fucking hardcore capitalists, they will buy human lives, bro. They will buy things that you cannot fucking understand. They will make babies. They're just meant to be destroyed. You know? Meant to just explode. They're not just gonna buy military equipment. They're gonna buy something that's just completely out of this world to think about. You know, it starts with understanding that you can bribe a politician, bribe police. You know, it's just the starting point of like, wait, money can do weird things. What's going on? What is the weirdest thing I can do with money? What is the weirdest thing the current reality allows me to do? And that's why it feels so unusual what's going on, because they know they have to shut down the operation. They have to just fucking do their final thing so they don't get in the way of like really powerful people, because really powerful people can cut off Putin's balls in like a fucking weekend. And all of a sudden Putin cannot play with his toys anymore. You know, really powerful people would have him backed into a corner very quickly. He has very limited amount of time. The apocalypse is happening. This is the only fucking time you can perform some stupid fucking ritual, human sacrifices, all this bullshit that you're not involved with and you should celebrate. Okay? You should be happy that you're not a part of this bullshit. That this is actually quite an isolated event. Next, my friends. Europe is involved. The rest of the world, the demon side of the world, they're just watching. They're just fucking... They're vibing. You know? Oh, apocalypse. Cool. Finally, these rich people gonna get something to chew on, basically. This part of the world does nothing. They're just sitting there fucking watching television. Killing Christians? I don't know nothing about that. Alright? I don't know anything about African culture. Besides that, everyone is fucking yapping out like, well, colonists made Africa better for our viewing pleasure, you know? For the viewer, it made it better, but I don't think Africa is better because it got colonized. I feel like Africa is doing their own thing. They love doing their own thing. They love surviving for like 35 years. Because they did it by themselves. They want the ultimate freedom. It's a little bit demonic, but you have to let them fucking do their shit. Okay, clicking language, whatever. They're doing stupid shit, okay? Africans love doing that. You gotta give them that freedom. Don't need to colonize just to prove like colonization can turn Africans into good people. Wow. And then you get killed. Because you don't fucking understand their culture. Little quick recap. I think it's pretty obvious what Australia is when it comes to demon worlds. It's just like the isolation. People attracted to isolation. They even have their own, not just ecosystem. They have their own fucking biome. You know? They have the whole fucking world in there. Australia is a whole new world. It's so isolated from the rest of the world, it makes no sense for anyone to be even attracted to Australia. Even attraction to Australia potentially is Marmite in your fucking mouth immediately. Eat some Marmite, bitch. Choke on some Marmite, basically. It's crazy. Alright, the demon world is so crazy, there's no reason to actually talk about it or mention it. It's just like, there is the rest of the world, but it fucking sucks, okay? It doesn't participate in the apocalypse. It doesn't have anything to offer that is actually valuable. They burn all their resources in one way or the other. Don't worry about it, alright? Even when a fucking retard like fucking Dark Viper try to make drama, and you don't have to know who he is, but an Australian failed to make drama on the internet. I wonder why. Because he doesn't understand reality, it doesn't seem. He likes dark humor. He's playing fucking GTA like the most isolated person of all time. A fucking gamer trying to start drama. Like, he doesn't understand shit. And I feel like Australians just generally are in this camp altogether. They haven't surprised me with anything so far, you know. I might start Australia drama just to kind of see it, what I can find. Australia is also a part of fucking Eurovision, which is weird, but that gives us a little bit of more clues of what is actually going on. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I haven't investigated. Moving on. So, speaking about Europe, what is Europe fucking doing right now? I think it's quite interesting. I think everyone is interested now that we are crying so loud. Now that we are fully participating in this fucking apocalypse. I think everyone knows now that UK has been crying for 2 years. You know, of like something bad is happening. Germany is generating the most vicious, I don't know, Nazism. They literally brought back Nazism simply because they have to shelter migrants. So their morality has to come down to like World War II levels of well, generosity. Like you lower your standards, you lower your morals in order to let other people just do whatever the fuck they're doing, and then they come up with like the craziest stories. France is always fucking garbage. So you literally see now Western Europe just light up with pure vomit. All right, it basically doesn't even exist. But you all of a sudden realize that none of these people are actually happy. They're not projecting any good sides of the capitalism. Nothing good is happening. Just everyone is just screaming and invoking all of this like authoritarian internet censorship. Fucking, they're bleeding all over the place. It's even hard to fucking describe what's actually going on. And it's like the previous year, you got nothing. In 2024, I got the worst year imaginable. You guys have heard nothing about it. So it's like, well, nothing interesting happened, right? While these countries are like burning in hell, nothing actually interesting happened over here. Except like Russia is kind of like encroaching, so I guess that's interesting. No. Very bad things have been happening. Half of those things I don't even know what's going on because literally in 2024 or 2025, we literally lost like all of these countries. They're not participating in Eurovision, so Balkans completely eliminated immediately, just in 1 year and 2 years alone. Like, what's going on? Why are you backing away? Why are you saying that you're running out of money? What's going on? For me in my country, and again, I feel so isolated. I try to fucking make content on TikTok, at least like someone could hear me, right? But now it's 200 views and done. And TikTok says, you're done. That's it. You did your best. It's over. I feel censored already. If we're talking about internet censorship, it's usually the ones who can't even fucking talk and reach an audience are the most censored of all time. Subscribe, guys. This is exclusive content, my friends. This is exclusive coverage of the apocalypse, guys. And you might want to know what's going to happen when the fucking, the latest and the greatest join into the party. You know, they don't want to participate too much. They want to just kind of like they're the most backseated fucking places on earth, right? When the wave hits, they're the last ones to join in. And it's like, oh, I have to do it. It's like the most privileged, the most diva kind of people. Everyone is saying of like, look how high my GDP is. You know, it's the ultimate flex. But it means nothing. GDP means nothing. GDP means that you just had to buy a car to get by. You know, you have to traverse the fucking United States with a car and not just, you cannot do it on foot. That's GDP. All right, and you have to buy fuel, you have to buy repairs, all the good stuff that a car has, basically. Literally, that's all you fucking do. Well, while they are bragging about GDP, all I see is just people who like cars too much. All right, the dummies who think they're cool because they have car, and the car just is kind of stupid. I don't have a car. I will never have a car. I will never get a license. None of this fucking matters to me. You know? Why do I need one? And if most jobs are like in the office, I can just live in the office. I don't care. I can live next to the office. I don't care, dude. Like, I will never own a car, dude. Leave me alone. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'll introduce them into the, the script of the world. So again, but the brave people are doing nothing. Well, no one is doing anything. Okay, like, COVID is just a spread of something. So, Putin and Israelis are spreading their own fucking bullshit. All right? It spreads across the world. It should mean something, though, right? It should be meaningful. And it is. The meaning is it's a distraction. Okay, the world leaders are going to take care of this. You have no input, you have no influence over this. It's a distraction, and you can see it across the internet. It's not just white noise, which has no racial implications, by the way. It's also people resonating with it and becoming part of the distraction. Distraction becomes a destruction if you pay too much attention. Okay, this is why I say it's white noise. Like, you should not pay attention. That's the whole fucking point. Alright? There's no reason to pay attention. You're not invited. You might get a few nuggets of information. None of them are, like, interesting or uplifting. So, but if you see people being distracted by this too much, stay away from those people. That's a very easy, like, moral compass of what to social distance from even more viciously. Because this is the starting point. You know, you embrace social distancing, but when you see people trying to distract you with all this garbage, with Palestinian flags or something, like, I'm sorry, bro. You're distracting people. You are not allowing British flags to just be there. You're distracting people. Holy shit. You have to resist, fight back against this, do whatever it takes. Don't let people distract you just from what's actually important to you. You know? Because that's the worst thing. That's how they got their power in the first place, these fuckers. Because they were buying something that was, like, very enticing for other people to spectate. People got very curious. And it's like, okay, I'll give you $5. What is your OnlyFans account uploading right now? That's what's going on right now, but in a much more, like, sinister, uh, adult male style. Something you can't comprehend. You're too young to understand. I'm too young to understand. So yeah, I was making them, like, the biggest cancellation is it's so obvious this guy's fucking toxic piece of shit, and he's just propagating the same distraction basically. In fact, his clapback against iDubbbz was literally, you're not talking about this thing. You should be distracted by this particular thing right now. You know? It is crazy. He's literally propagating this whole fucking nonsense. And he woke up just to be like, oh, I actually want to drop a nuke right now. You know? And then went back to sleep again. Because all he wants is just a little bit of distraction. There's nothing else to it. The nuke didn't do shit. It just made fucking whoever Hassan is just more relevant. And I'm starting to get sick of this shit. You know? Of, like, how do I get rid of it? Was iDubbbz just as bad? We will never know. Because he was dealing with something way worse. See, that's the point. The distraction is trying to distract you with another distraction, pointing a finger of, like, hey, this guy is way worse than me. And it's like people started digging. You know, people just got double distracted into hoping that, yes, iDubbbz is worse than H3, but in actuality, if you just sit back and relax, things become obvious, okay? That H3 doesn't even have a fucking platform. He's a toxic pile of shit. He doesn't have upload video schedule. He's just yapping on a fucking stream. He demoted himself to a streamer where he used to be a fucking respectable person on the internet. Now he's just a streamer. Being a streamer is garbage, bro. Unless you're the best streamer, then you are garbage. that people will be attached to, very attracted to. They will want to tell you that you are garbage, for you are just a streamer. But that's the cool thing, you know. You know you're the best streamer. You know that every insult that you receive, someone like Pokimane, someone like fucking Asmongold, all of these motherfuckers, they're receiving 10 times more insults than you have received. This guy is sitting here soaking in on knowledge of how shitty streamers actually are, you know? Because all the little mistakes that he made amplifies tenfold, hundredfold on other streamers most of the time. Bro's sitting there, gonna smirk for the rest of his life, knowing that he's the best streamer, and the moment you are outraged by another streamer, that streamer will be forever cancelled, never come back to, you know, internet relevancy whatsoever. But this guy can't survive it, because he's the best, you know? He should be the last one to be attacked. Again, I'm just explaining why H3H3, the Israeli bot, is a distraction to the internet community. He just shows up, basically, uninvited, yapping about his fucking drama. But most importantly, wasting people's time, because no people have made the correct decision. Everyone got distracted of, like, let's fucking investigate iDubbbz. iDubbbz is being accused of being worse than H3, and we gotta double check, and it's like, all of this is garbage. All of this is a waste of time. Not only you doing the wrong thing, but you're gonna stick it into your brain of, like, iDubbbz bad, and H3 is normal. Yeah, good luck with that. That's not how it works. So that's that, right? The distraction world has been opened up. Half of the world is talking about one war, half of the world is talking about another war. People are getting just sucked in, but this is not the worst vortex happening right now. Alright? Things get fundamentally more interesting. Again, there's the Eastern and Western Europe. I would say divided like this. Like Italy, they have their own fucking culture. It's divided like this. Not only that, 2024 was a heatwave moment for the East. It was fucking rough. It was the craziest year. It was hell on earth, basically. I had to confront my 3 neighbors around 10 times. And it's like, I've never done this before. So we went from 0 to 10 times. That shit is crazy. And no one from my stairwell, alright, where people live, there's, let's see, 4 stairwells. And, no one from my stairwell actually takes responsibility for anything. No one fucking cares. No one shows up, basically. Maybe one person. And that's just not enough to make a count. No one shows up in the apartment meetings, and when they do show up, when people do gather, noise is like the last thing they fucking discuss, even though it's actually the highest priority right now. It's like unbearable amounts of noise happening. In a way, you can call it only one thing, and one thing in general. Mass silencing. This is not happening in the East. I mean, in the West. It's not happening over here. It's happening over here. Mass silencing is not happening when people are saying it's happening right now. Or mass surveillance. Or, like, you need government IDs. No, something else is happening over there. This is mass silencing because the first thing you do is drown people with noise. Alright? You make people lose their fucking minds. You degenerate people. You burn their brain cells. You invade their safeties. And you tell them that there's nothing you can do, no one you can fucking call. You are fucking completely isolated. It's game over, basically. And while it might be the case for other people, I am defending myself. I do whatever I fucking can, and I had to make every single confrontation mattered very, very much. Alright? And potentially I will still have to continue doing that. I still made, I don't know, 2 confrontations this year. Not as fucking intense, but it's still Still there. I still had to fucking survive a burning, fire below me. They fucking set something on fire, and it's like, oh shit, I have to survive. There was smoke coming into my apartment. It's crazy. I'm telling you guys, only crazy people are living around me right now. Every single person is fucking crazy. Every dog, every child, everyone is fucking crazy. And they're mass silencing any smart people right now. Why would they be doing this? Alright, so we established the COVID and oxygen narrative. We also established this narrative. Now we're talking about the European worlds. So we're talking about mass silence, alright? Why would they do this? Because they're scared of changes. Every fucking person is scared of changes because they know they will be disqualified. They will be kicked out of society. All these pieces of shit, they know. They're not welcome to the next thing. They will get no new technologies. They will get no new jobs. They will get no new relationships. They are fucking scared. The demons are constantly crafting something. They're making mistakes. They're accumulating bad behavior. Their health is fucking declining and all this shit. They're being just bad guys to everyone, and this is turning into like karmic consequence that is being announced into their fucking skulls of like bad things are gonna happen to you. And people who surround me, they're probably just dead. Whoever surrounds me and think they're gonna fucking live any life, I mean, they will be fucking public execution #1, if anything. I need to tell people that I don't want to be fucked around with. I'm a serious person, maybe more serious than anyone I've ever met, which means something. I haven't met even a more serious person on the fucking internet. Of like, I'm serious about making changes, understanding how the world works, all this shit. I still haven't met a person like this, guys. No one has subscribers and is serious. So these people are very scared. They want to silence anyone and want to like, if someone cannot be silenced, that's the enemy. They want to fucking find the enemies. They want to exclude the enemies first from society before they get excluded. They're doing their fucking crafty shenanigans, conspiracies. They fucking pulling that shit as best as they can. All right, but they like evil cannot be united. This kind of evil people have never been united. It's very ugly for them to try to unite themselves. It's icky sticky business. They try immediately. They try to pretend against me of like, man, I support this evil person, right? This evil neighbor, I am supporting it right now. He's getting all the support, and I'm just like, I don't believe that shit, bro, for one bit. None of these evil people can convince me that they are actually uniting against me, and even if they do, they still lose because we go to court. The only place we're gonna unite into is court. We're gonna listen to my fucking story, You're gonna unite with your ears. Your ears will unite and gonna have to listen to me explain every single frustration that I have, and all the fucking responsibilities that I have and all the shit that I've done. They will have to face their own bullshit that they have cooked on me, basically. God forbid, this is across the entire place. The life that I have to live now, I'm concentrated on just one pinpoint. Everyone has to live a very similar kind of tragedy, basically. For some reason, Sweden is more like Western. I don't know what Sweden is doing. This migrant crisis is not. It's not cool, guys. That's for the Western world. You can sort of like do it like this. This feels like the same pattern, I guess. Is this Iceland? This is Iceland. Wait, Iceland is Western? I'll take it. I'll 100% take it. So, I had to live through what I call the purge. Mass silencing or the purge. So the purge is like destruction of property. The best way to destroy property is with noise because I don't want to live here anymore. I just want to move to where it's not fucking noisy. That's just the easiest way to destroy property. Go figure. I thought you popped tires. Popping tires was not it. Alright, in fact, you buy more tires, you buy motorcycles, you buy four-wheelers, and start even more noise. Just because you can. Again, these people are fucking shitting their pants when they get approached. They're completely useless. They have nothing to say. They have no comebacks. They only have weapons. Demands of me to respect them somehow. They just taken a pass. And they're not actually capable. Human beings, they definitely are not capable of receiving bad, let's call it notifications that they're not gonna be invited to the next thing where the human beings are moving into. Whatever human beings are gonna be up to, they're not invited, they're gonna be blocked off from this activity. And people who are in this region in particular, they have to create a blacklist just to block off all these people you don't like. You have to do it 100% of people you don't like personally. You have to block them off because it's still going to be a personal business for you to do that. But you get, the freedom to block anyone you want from the future. They have to live in their past. They have to live in fucking tiny villages or crammed into fucking toxic compounds, basically. They can even make it appear pretty for themselves. But if they make it appear pretty, it's very difficult to convince that you're living a shitty life. While we gonna unite out of here and find somewhere else to fucking go, something else to do. This just can't last like this. There has to be a fucking breaking point, just like there has to be a breaking point to the wars that's happening, to distractions. And the COVID narrative just has to calm down, basically, has to be cracked and fully explained of what actually happened. Because people have done some weird, unexplainable things during this time, and no one is feeling good about it. You should feel good when pandemic happens. This is the best time ever. All the weak people die. All the weak people just leave life and let you live. That's the whole fucking point, But there's some still weak people left over. Putin has some weak people to just throw into a dumpster, basically. I have weak people to deal with in terms of confrontations and, amassing new life skills I never had before. And also just filling up the list, the blacklist of people I really don't want to see in my life anymore. I'll probably have to make a specific episode just unveiling the blacklist, naming what kind of people, what kind of behavior is prohibited in my future, what I want to social distance from, what I find unacceptable. Technically, it's deadmau5 drama to some extent of things I find unacceptable on the internet, but I can potentially make it even more intense. Maybe it's going to be drama. Maybe it's not just going to be one episode, blacklist drama. That could be completely sensible to do. I say out loud of like what people I would block off, and all of a sudden maybe I get a light bulb moment where I'm realizing it's that person. That person is doing this to me right now, and I would block them off being able to post videos online or some bullshit like that. Anyways, so mass silencing happening through noise, through pretentiousness that everything is okay, nothing is changing, through complete ignorance that there's a war going on, that you should be more respectful of people around you, pretending that your problems, amplifying your own problems onto other people, I have my own problems, I have my own territory, this fucking means something, I want to just be left alone, for very serious reasons, but if you drag me into your drama, now I have to act. They try to fucking tear you into two pieces of like, you have to suffer. Just suffer, bro, because our problems are much more serious. The mask is off of all these people, and again, I feel the pain is all across this area. I feel there's a lot of going on, like even like Finland had to join like NATO. That's a big change. Any change can propagate a bunch of radicals into the surface. The worms come out. And again, Balkans are also in some kind of crisis. It is worth investigating because these people don't have voices. So anytime you hear anything about this, you have to be very extra concerned. Not about this fucking loud and noisy event, but about these quiet countries suffering, basically. Individually, almost. On individual basis, they are suffering. Next, the current year, the 2025, the new players came in. It's the Western Europe. All right, and you can see all about it, of what's actually going on. But you will never be able to connect the dots. The dots are all over the place. Maybe it is worth calling this like a collective, a connected system of doing something in particular, like slamming their head into a wall. I don't know, something really stupid. It does get attention, but it's a lot more plot twisted than you can describe this. Like, it's plot twisted for what they are doing. This is not plot twisted for what they're doing. They're just like allowing migration, opening doors. You can say that is kindness, actually, and just continue with your day of like, that's normal, that's kindness. You open doors, you feed people on your own doorstep. That's whatever, right? Something else is going on. Hence why I started the K-pop drama of like, what does that have to do with anything? Technically, it seems like it's the ultimate conspiracy against the world. It feels like real information is all over the place and it's lighting up. You know? And every single time it lights up, it makes people feel like they have to travel to that location and extract the information to unlock what's actually going on. What are people fucking plotting right now? It's like us versus the world mentality. And potentially, they love migration because they want to take over the world. You know? Maybe these are like the globalists, the elites that Alex Jones is talking about. They're the fucking conspiracists. The ones that make up the most fucking cringeworthy plots in human history, right? You basically have an area of like human suffering, but here you have an area that's potentially beyond human suffering. Potentially, it's there to traffic humans, capture them, basically. Just like you post a tweet, they have to exercise capturing you and putting you in jail. They can't control themselves. The elites can't control themselves. They have to exercise their ability to rip you off society and put you in jail just because you said words, right? Just like Charlie Kirk is also part of this. The elites are fucking practicing their fucking weird shit of like, I want to eliminate this person. I have to eliminate. They literally wake up uncontrollably hoping to eliminate someone that makes too much noise for them, that annoys them too much. So I have to eliminate that shit. Everyone started raising flags in Britain, and the elites are now fucking fuming. The like volcano emerging of like, stop resisting. I will eliminate whatever I choose, said the elites. Whatever I choose across the entire world, no one can stop me. They're like the divas of the world. If anything frustrates them and they double check it, like, they have to go for it. They're just like ultimate predators. There's a lot of humans in the world, they say. They're like the globalists. They want depopulation. But what they're talking about is they want, well, to tell you that there's too many humans in the world. So they can just kill whatever the fuck they choose, right? And if that person doesn't resist, then they will continue. They will continue until there is a person that's resisting them. There is a fucking clog in their wheels. And potentially it's gonna happen soon when their wheels are getting clogged by fucking some dude. Literally, some dude is gonna emerge and be like, what the fuck is this guy? It's gonna be the ultimate vortex. It's gonna be the ultimate, like, Jesus moment, I guess. But people will, definitely, be impressed by some fucking guy who's literally exposing the elites, clogging their wheels. It's like, it's as fucking crazy of a person as, like, Alex Jones. Alex Jones is close in being this kind of person, but he's kind of also backseating a lot of the action and just wants to see the intensity not in first hand. But someone has to be from this area, basically, because it's like the easiest accessible place. And he's gonna start fucking clogging the elites and exposing them and doing some crazy shit. Have you seen that TikToker that fucking infiltrated Brussels? This guy, Phidias, bro. This guy fucking slapping. I don't know if this is gonna be this guy, but it's like people like this are actually the crux in this whole fucking conspiracy being plotted across like the whole area. Because when there's a lot of people like this Western world, this Western sector, when there's a lot of people, it's the unity is so much more powerful. Unity between like countries, that's where the European Union comes in, and they just like, hey guys, come in. I guess you're also invited. You're close to Russia. I guess you need. So European Union kind of dissolved, but there's something else, still brewing, still kind of some kind of unity going on between these countries that, conspiring against the world. And the only thing you need is like to expose them, but to crack their code, you have to like really collect all the clues of what's actually going on. Everything is a fucking mystery in that sense. And only then you can reverse the damage that they're doing onto their own countries. Because in order to actually conspire against the world, they have to sacrifice resources, they have to sacrifice their countries and their own safety, basically. They literally open the doors to invaders. They have to. That's the part of conspiracy. That's the part of the fucking distracting people, potentially being kind to people, just kind of virtue signaling so they can cover up their fucking nasty shit that they're doing. If you're talking about elites and highly educated people, they live here. Nowhere else in the world you will find anyone else like it. And conspiracies, collaborators, communists, basically, Nazis, like, they live here. There's nowhere else in the world you will find these motherfuckers. Not to mention that this is literally a Nazi symbol. I'm just realizing a vortex is a Nazi symbol. I would prefer this more than like a fucking solid piece of shit. But yeah, it's close. It's close. They definitely inspired by the vortex, inspired by the existence of that one person that can just collapse the whole thing. The rest of 7 minutes dedicated to America. Welcome to the American role in this apocalypse. What are the Americans going to do? It's pretty obvious. It should be like the most obvious thing with the most not obvious consequence because they're backseaters. They're waiting to act. They have to like pick up the correct script right now. Like the scripts are flying left and right of like who are you gonna be? What are you gonna do? Everyone is fucking panicking. Everyone's trying to get the best script, the best role to play. This is why America feels like it does a lot of things, but it has like zero commitment to anything. In fact, like the most talented people, like Taylor Swift, Selena, they're not talented anymore. They're fucking busy making relationships. What are they doing? Everything feels like it's in a panic mode, but the panic mode maybe can be explained by U.S. citizens are looking for that special script that makes them cool again, makes them popular, but in a much more like a massive way. Now, there's weak-minded lefties who will pick up whatever the fucking script is, so if we going against Trump, that's like the most common thing of like, Trump has the best script, so we have to go against Trump, and it's like, yep, that's entire lefty population right there, scooped up. So if you truly are honest with yourself, United States gets divided then divided again, then divided again, then divided again, is the ultimate division sequence, which I called the election year. Things get divided, 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 divided. They're literally ready to do that. They're ready to divide a country just like politics is divided into two wings. They're ready to divide a country as many times as they have to in order to find that best script to start with. Because the best script has to start first. Then the rest of the divisions start later, right? So it's the obvious thing, right? It's just like the pyramid, basically, tactic of like this person starts first, then these guys start acting, then these people start acting. Just like you get the main characters, the side characters, all this shit. They know how to make movies. But it's happening in real life. You know, you have to use the movie skills in real life. It's pretty obvious. While the lefties can be fucking scooped up very easily, the celebrities, they belong in a whole different category. They don't belong with the lefties who protest all the time. Like that's brain rot. They don't have to do that. They actually know the movie magic inside out. Celebrities have an edge on most other people. What we're gonna see in the following years is elimination round after round. People gonna be canceled, eliminated, because they're climbing this ladder basically all together. Of like, who's the next thing? It's like it's the ultimate beast games that you've the proportions of which is completely mind-blowing. Mr. Beast maybe had like 1,000 contestants. We're talking about 300 million. And potentially Canada is also involved. Mexico is also involved. We're talking 500 million contestants for the election year of who's going to be on the top. Who's going to get the best script. Who's going to live the best life. Who's going to fucking get that American dream. And then it happens. The script flips upside down, and the person who got the best script has to mow down the most zombies because it was the zombie movie. It was the zombie movie. Yay, cheers. The plot twist. It was the zombie movie. You get a gun. You get a bigger gun if you are up here. You know, you get more weapons, and you have to mow down zombies. Congratulations. That is the future, my friends. Pretty fucking weird, isn't it? And again, I have imperfections. I haven't cracked all the codes. There's still future ahead of us, which I cannot possibly predict exact events, exact people. But I can understand where are we going? What are we leaning into? What's going to be the cracking moments of like how everything plays out. Like everything becomes more and more clear as we get closer to it. The next year is extremely clear that this is happening. The next year is the election year. I will announce it even more loud and proud, a specific video dedicated for this. So you don't need much information. And I'm probably also going to prepare myself, like watch movies. I'm going to be very interested and invested as always. You should be a subscriber to understand what's actually going on so you not panic too much. Okay, most people, again, they're not part of the statistics, they're not part of the death count when they're not participating too much, when they're not too excited to jump in and punch an ICE officer or something. All right, just don't be excited to get into trouble right now. It's apocalypse. You can, in fact, get killed if you participate too deeply. If you start fucking trying to crack the elite conspiracy, you might actually get jailed because you're not ready. You're just not ready, and you're being like the enemy of the elite. You have to 100% believe in yourself that you can crack this shit wide open. You know? All the fucking roaches gonna be exposed and exterminated. That's a big deal. That's a person who's gonna get, like, king-level treatment. You know, we might find the new king and queen. I don't know. It's that crazy. So stay tuned for the news. You have been dominated by me. I explained what's actually going on. There's nothing to panic about. Everything is under control. Everything is fine. No innocent people had to die unless they actually really wanted to. Okay, if they just jumped in there and started, I don't know, licking cyanide off the floor You know, just to prove Trump that cyanide actually heals you. And it's like, nope, you dead. You made a mistake. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.